Welcome back. This is part 3 of lecture 4 of acupuncture for massage therapists, or acupoints for massage therapists, the spring semester of 2011. We left off speaking about the points on the stomach channel of the face, and we left off with Juliao, stomach 3, and we move to Dikong, stomach 4. Stomach 4 is on the continuance of the nasolabial groove. If the groove is not visible at this point, you can ask the client to smile. And at the end of the groove, 0.4 sun, so a little less than half a sun lateral to the corner of the mouth. Dikong. Earth granary. Named earth granary because of its function in receiving the chi of grain. Right, the food we eat. The point is very important. It's a great point for all kinds of wind disturbances in the face. As a matter of fact, in a manual of acupuncture by Peter Dedman, he quotes a classic text of Chinese medicine, The Secret Writings of Bian Chu, which says, use of Dikong, stomach 4, in all cases where treacherous wind enters the ear, mouth, and eye and leads to deviation. Use Dikong, stomach 4, in all cases where treacherous wind enters the ear, mouth, and eye and leads to deviation. Deviation, moving in a way that it shouldn't be moving, twitching, tremors, things like Bell's palsy, where part of the face drops and there's no muscle control. Right? This point is used frequently in treatment of facial paralysis. This point also is, interestingly enough, it's generally we talk about distal points on the channel being good for problems in the proximal part of the channel. So we would use points on the leg and foot to treat eye and nose and mouth pain. But this point is actually an exception or a case where we can use points above to treat below, because this point can be used in certain instances to treat swelling or pain of the leg. But its functions or its actions are to eliminate wind from the face. These are its actions. Eliminate wind from the face and activate the channel and alleviate pain. So as I said earlier, indications would be signs of wind, deviation of the mouth, pain of the cheek, trigeminal neuralgia, which is a inflammation of the trigeminal nerve, one of the cranial nerves, drooling, numbness of the lips and face, toothache, tremor of the eyeball, inability to close the eye, which we see in Bell's palsy, itching of the eye, blurring vision, night blindness, and atrophy and swelling of the leg. Stomach 5, Da Ying, big welcome, or great welcome, Da, big or great. Some people say the point is named because it's where the stomach and large intestine channels meet. There's a lot of, receiving that happens, right? The stomach receives the chi of the grain, it receives the food, and the grain begins to rotten and ripen. And the large intestine receives, the impure fluids and then begins to process or moves them through for elimination as solid waste. Stomach 5 is anterior to the angle of the mandible on the lower border of the muscle masseter, and the depression appearing when the jaw is clenched. I described that earlier. Right, if we come around here, right, the angle of the jaw, and if you clench your jaw, the masseter muscle will jump up. Point will be right around this location. anterior angle of the mandible on the lower border of the muscle masseter, in the depression appearing when the jaw is clenched. Right, that flexes the masseter, makes it pop up. It courses wind and quickens the connecting vessels. So indications would be facial paralysis, trismus, which is also lockjaw, TMJ, post-surgical pain, anything that really locks up the jaw and has it hard for you to open and close the jaw falls under the heading of trismus. Swelling of the cheek, pain in the face, and toothache. Taue, head corner, is located on the lateral side of the head, half a sun within the anterior hairline at the corner of the head, and 4.5 sun lateral to due 24, or governor vessel 24. So we look at the side of the head, half a sun within the anterior hairline, and 4.5 sun lateral to governor vessel 24. It expels wind, relieves pain, brightens the eyes, relieves dizziness, and clears heat. Indicated for headache, right? This is a great point. For headache, that's that splitting, kind of blinding headache. That because of the Yang-Ming association, we're talking about clearing heat. When heat rises up and it creates a situation where everything's kind of expanding, it feels like your head wants to split open. Right? This is a great point because it will expel the wind and clear the heat. It will relieve dizziness, which could be a sign also that things are rushing up to the head, right? So headache, primary for this point. Blurring of vision, eye inflammation, right? So we see brightens the eyes, clears heat, and lacrimation, and that's tearing. Stomach 9. Ren Yin, man's prognosis. And that is, man as in mankind. So we could, because Ren means man or person, we could say person's prognosis. This is a window of the sky point, which means it's useful in regulating the flow of qi between the head and the rest of the body. It's a meeting point of the stomach and gallbladder channels. It's level with the tip of the Adam's apple, or the thyroid cartilage, where the pulsation of the common carotid artery is palpable on the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoideus muscle, the SCM. So level with the tip of the Adam's apple, where the pulsation of the common carotid artery is palpable on the anterior border of the muscle sternocleidomastoideus, the SCM. So what you might want to do now is just tip your head slightly back and find the prominent point on your neck, the high point of the thyroid cartilage. Yeah? And then just slide your finger laterally till you come to the anterior border of the SCM and feel for the carotid, the pulse there. And that's where the point is. Now, be careful when you are palpating this point, or if you ever choose to manipulate this point, that you don't press too hard, right? You don't want to occlude the carotid. You don't want to, there are a lot of nerves in there, as we discussed in class. So always be conscious of the structures that you're working on underneath. So you may find the carotid and then kind of move it away so you feel it on the side of your finger, right? Maybe the side instead of the tip, and then just let the tip sink in, right on that where the artery was on the anterior border of the SCM at the level of the tip of the thyroid cartilage or the Adam's apple. This point is known as person's prognosis or man's prognosis, because the pulse there was often used to determine or the vitality of a person in illness and in health. So if there was a good pulse and it matched the pulses of the wrist and a good strong pulse at stomach 42 on the top of the foot, then the prognosis was good chi flowing throughout the body, good blood, and therefore the disease might not progress, might not be as bad, or the person's body was strong enough to fight it. Yes. So, hence the name Renyin. It regulates qi, right? We talk about it being a window of the sky point. So it regulates qi between the head and the body, right? Removes masses, benefits the throat, and relieves swelling. Indicated in cases of sore throat, asthma, goiter, dizziness. Makes sense, right? For regulating qi, dizziness can be caused by qi and rushing up into the head, right? We want to regulate that and bring it back and have it move in the direction it's meant to move. And flushing of the face. And once again, I offer you a caution. Be aware of the pressure in this area. There are blood vessels and nerves close to the surface.